Hello, I'm Rachael Weiker. I am the race director for the YWCA Minneapolis Women's Triathlon, presented by Boston Scientific. This is the 11th year that YWCA Minneapolis has held the Women's Tri, and we are excited to welcome new and returning racers to race day on August 12th at Lake Nokomis. Today, we are going through this very special Facebook Live session. Thank you for joining us, to go over our free training plan, which you can find at ywcanpls.org/women's tri, or click on the link over in the comment section. And I highly recommend pulling up that link while we go through the training plan so you get an idea of what I'm talking about. Otherwise, this might be a bit off. So we'll go through the plan. I will decipher what the first workouts mean during the week 1 or the week 12 of training, which starts next week. And I will also answer some questions that have been submitted to us online before this session. If you have other questions, feel free to submit them in the comments section here, and I will do my best to answer them at the end of the session. All right, so pull up that plan and let's dive in. So the plan that we've created, which you can see, is 12 weeks long, and it'll take you through 3 distinct phases to build up your endurance, race-specific ability for the race, and then a good gradual taper going into the race itself. It is built for beginners. If you've been working out before this and you have a great base, that's awesome. If you have not been working out and you're feeling a little behind, that's okay. The important thing is to just get started and keep working at it. Consistency is always your friend in this pace. We also highly, highly recommend going through all those objectives, notes, tips, and tricks within the plan. This plan was written by coaches, race directors, and very experienced triathletes, so there's a wealth of knowledge in this document. It'll take some time, but trust me, it's super worth it. If you always have questions, we are always here to answer them. We are at triathlon@ywcanpls.org. We also have an FAQ page, and there's a Google group for registered participants as well. So always send your questions our way. All right, back to the plan. So this plan will gradually increase the time that you spend on each of the events. The first 5 weeks of the plan are focused on building up your frequency and your endurance overall. So this is a 5-week block where you're building out your workout routine and getting the feel of doing multi-sport. So again, during this time frame, consistency is your friend. So even if your workouts don't feel super long or very intense, don't worry about it. The fact that you're putting in the time now is going to make a big difference on race day, so keep working at it. We also highly recommend a gradual progression in your buildup of intensity, so don't go more than 10% as far as distance, duration, or intensity from one week to the next, or one workout to the next. Keep it pretty steady so that you don't put yourself at risk for injury. So the second 4-week block of the training plan focuses on race-specific training. So here we're trying to get you to the actual distances of the race and to be able to do those events back to back. So you'll start to see a brick workout where you do, say, a bike and then a run, or a swim and then a bike. So you can get the feeling of what it's like to move from one sport to the next immediately. And it takes some practice, so don't worry if it doesn't feel great right away. The final 3 weeks is going to take you into your peak training week, where you're going to do the most intensity of workouts and your longest workouts, followed by 2 weeks of a taper. And that is time built in to gradually back off of your training so that you feel rested and recovered leading up to that race day. Okay. Within the workout, you're going to see suggestions for workouts for each week and each day. That means you'll also see suggestions for intensity, duration, and even some interval workouts posted in there. An interval workout means that you're just going to have a specified period of hard work followed by a period of rest and recovery. You're going to repeat those a few times. We'll vary that up. We'll vary the intensity of each of those. All of these workouts are a suggestion. What's really good to keep in mind as you're looking at this workout is how to rate what's easy, fast, hard. So for example, when we write in there easy, that means that you should be able to comfortably talk with somebody and hold a conversation while you're biking or running. A more moderate or faster effort means that you may have difficulty keeping up a streaming conversation, but you can still talk with somebody through the workout. If we say fast or hard, that means it's going to be a more intense effort and you would have difficulty talking at that level. many of our workouts start out as easy and then say faster going into the intervals. And that simply means to push yourself into that moderate to intense effort, and then feel free to work yourself up slowly to that level of intensity so that you're not burning yourself or putting yourself at risk of injury right away. So let's talk about those workouts and what they look like. I have my handy copy right here. You can't see it, doesn't matter. Pull it up online and you'll actually see what I'm talking about. So let's start out with the Monday workout next week. So we say to start out with your favorite event. So pick your swim, bike, or run and do it for 15 minutes. Again, if you've been working out and you feel really strong, you could go a little longer if you'd like, or you can do the 15 minutes, stretch, feel good for the day. If you haven't been working out and this feels a little intense, just stay nice and easy pace for the 15 minutes, and then make sure to give yourself time to stretch and rest afterwards. Oh, do we have there's a comment? Read it. I might have. Oh, when do I start the 12-week training plan? There it is. Sorry. The training plan starts next week. So on Monday of next week is when we recommend you start your training plan. All right. Okay, so that Monday, 15-minute workout. And then Tuesday, we're going into your first run/walk if you need to start walking. So we recommend starting with a 5-minute warm-up, and that can be a steady jog, a fast walk, what feels comfortable for you to get yourself, again, warmed up. As soon as that 5 minutes is done, you're going to go into a suggested interval workout. And for that, we suggest going for 1 minute at a faster pace, and then immediately after, followed by 2 minutes of a resting pace. So that means easy jog or walk again. You're going to go through that 3 times total. And at the end of that last 2 minutes of rest, you're going to go back into 5 minutes of jogging, resting, like recovery walk or jog. And that's it. So really at the end of that workout, you got about 7 minutes of a recovery jog or walk pace. Wednesday, you have a rest day, your first one, celebrate it, take a nap, go for a walk, find a friend, get some dinner, or come to our Tri Basics class at Lake Nokomis and meet some other triathletes, check out the race course, get some other tips. You do you. All right, so that's Wednesday. Thursday, we suggest the first swim workout. So all of our swim workouts are measured in yards. So that means, and that's helpful because most of the pools in this area are also in yards. And most pools are 25 yards long from one end to the other. And so a 50-yard swim means 1 lap, going from one end and back again. So for this case, in this workout, the 50-yard warm-up or 50 warm-up means 1 lap as your first warm-up. And that can be any stroke that you like. Backstroke, front stroke, side stroke, whatever you think you're going to do for the race, and whatever gets you acclimated to the water. After you finish that 50 yards, give yourself a few seconds to rest, maybe 20, maybe 30, maybe a minute, and then you're going to do 100 easy continuous yards. So that means 2 laps down and back to get in those 100 continuous yards, all right? Then you're going to rest for another 20 or 30 seconds, and then you're going to start the suggested interval workout. For this, we suggest 4 times 25 yards with a 30-second rest. That means you're going to swim from one end of the pool to the other to complete your 25 yards, and then rest for 30 seconds at one end. Once that 30 seconds is up, you're going to again swim hard for that 25 yards to the other end of the pool and rest for another 30 seconds. Do that 2 more times, and you've completed your 4 intervals. And then immediately after that last 30 seconds of rest, you're going to go into another 2 laps, easy, continuous swimming. Right there, you've already completed several yards of swimming, and you've completed your first swim workout. So congrats. All right, Friday, again, rest day. Go out for a walk, go for a hike, yoga, Pilates, naps, whatever works for you. Saturday, we suggest a bike ride for 30 minutes. Now, we don't specify the intensity level for this because it's kind of up to you. This is still the first week. So if you're feeling really tired from the first week of workouts, take it really easy, but getting in the time will still make a difference. If you're still feeling really energized from that rest day, go ahead and go a little harder. Again, push yourself to what feels like a little challenging enough, but without overwhelming yourself. After you finish that bike ride, celebrate. That's your first week of training. Done. In the books. Good job. All right, so I'm going to go now into some questions that have been submitted ahead of this time. Again, if you do have questions, submit them in the comments over here, and I will do my best to answer them. So first question that we got was, one, are there porta potties on the course? And yes, we have many porta potties. We have several at the main race area outside of the transition area, one on the bike course and two on the run course as well, at least on the sprint course. Question number two, what do you suggest for getting the feel of doing all three events back to back? This is an awesome question because I get to plug our mini tries. If you go to ywcampls.org/endurance, you will see our list of summer endurance classes and clinics. We have what's called a mini try, where for $15 you can come to Lake Nokomis, where the race is. You will come to our temporary transition area that we've set up, and our coaches there watching your equipment, and they will stand guard over your items while you go out on the distance of choice for your swim, bike, and run. Awesome, great opportunity to, again, get some training in, meet some other folks, and also get the feel of doing all three sports back to back. If you can't do this, if you just can't work with our schedule, I recommend just going to the race course itself, bringing a friend, and asking them to just watch your items while you're out doing your activities. All right, third question, is the transition area secure? Yes. So we make sure during race day that only athletes and volunteers are allowed in or out of the transition area, and that is to make sure that you are the only one bringing your items in and leaving with them as well. A follow-up question that we had to this was if phones are allowed in the transition area, and while we wouldn't not allow them, USAT does not allow for phones on the race course for either the bike or the run. So we recommend leaving your phones at home or with a friend, or putting them in your bag drop on race morning. All right, question 4, are average times posted from years past? Yes, so if you go, again, go to our website, ywcampls.org/women's try, you will see on the left-hand menu the results tab, and click on that. It'll take you to a new page where you'll see all of the results from previous years. There's a great summary graph page where you can see a graph of average finish times, and you can also look at individual summaries to see some average individual times. Question 5, how do you recommend fueling up that morning with food, beverage, and timing? So the transition area opens at 5:45 a.m. and the first waves start at 8:10 a.m. So that's a lot of time in between. So we recommend waking up pretty early and eating something right away. This will not only give you something a little bit to like give you energy for the morning, but it'll also give you time to digest everything before you're actually starting to race. Follow that with a good bottle of water, 8 to 20 ounces. And again, make sure that you're feeling like you can digest that before you get too much into your wave group. If your stomach is feeling good, take in a little bit more nutrition right before your race starts, maybe 10 to 15 minutes, and make sure it's something that you've tried before swimming before. So this is the trick, is to, throughout the summer and throughout your training, practice eating before and during some of your workouts so you know what your stomach can handle, so that you don't have any surprise GI distress or issues on race day, and it takes some practice. We also have a nutritionist on staff here at YWCA and PLS if you want to submit specific questions for them or meet with them here. All right, last question. What do you suggest for people whose allergies make training miserable? And other than checking with your doctor to see what medications might help alleviate your symptoms, we have some very basic recommendations. So start with, wearing sunglasses and protective eyewear that curve around the sides of your eyes to prevent things from getting in. Go out in the early mornings versus the evening, or checking the time of the day, the weather, whatever might affect the pollen count, and trying to avoid days and times where there is a high pollen in the air. We also really recommend taking a shower immediately after working out outside to get that pollen off of you and to be courteous to your friends and family around you. So that is it for questions that have been submitted. Do we have questions here? It looks like we're okay. So if you do have questions, feel free to send them our way. We are at triathlon@ywcampls.org. We also have an FAQ page on the Women's Tri website. Keep sending us your questions. We will do another session if this gets popular, and if people have more questions about the training plan, we'd be happy to provide more support throughout the summer. So keep checking in with us. We'd love to hear from you, and thank you.